to Thieves. Band 1, 2, 3, top lane is OP here. This puts so much pressure on Tenacity's shoulders then. If you're gonna spend all your bans up there and you have first pick, what is it gonna be?
Really get to switch things up. Thank you, Fudge, for putting that energy into the universe and it now taking prominence in our fourth game of the day. But as you called out, Kobe, zeri ends up being the first lock-in.
Yeah, and I like going this route with it because then even if they try and do something, you know, to Lulu or to Yuumi, you still have the other one. It's not like you're never losing both of those. So zeri will have a good enchanter partner to go with, and it will be a carry, scaling AD carry for DoubleLift. I saw yesterday, people are wondering, what the hell? You brought back DoubleLift, one of the most prolific carry players of all time, and you put him, on a poke champion? Give him one of the best carry champions of all time, the pentakill machine that is zeri. So very hyped to see how this actually plays out. Immortals, good response here though for tactical. Sivir, of course, wave clear machine. We've seen it 3 games already today, and one of those games got to 500 CS and won the entire thing. Looks like it is going to be a Sivir Lulu split with what I'm assuming will be zeri plus Yuumi.
A very different look for the bot lane of Immortals compared to yesterday, where we had the Draven, we had the Pike. And I do respect the decision of both of these teams in the draft prior to bring out some of those unique picks, but now see what DoubleLift can do on this late game carry, see what he can do when he's got the cat on the back.
Yeah. DoubleLift said, I want to play with Busio. That's why he wants to join, one of the reasons he wanted to join 100 Thieves. And now Busio is going to play as close as you can possibly play with him, right on top of him with that Yuumi. And they're going to round this out with some initiation on the front line for them. Whenever I see that with a player like Closer, though, I get a little worried. Closer is such a good playmaker and carry player. The Viego comes to mind, the Lee Sin comes to mind. Those types of champions, 100 Thieves are taking a chance here while building their composition for an extremely strong front to back, carry playstyle based around DoubleLift. It does mean they're going to put Closer on just one of these more boring, stable tanks here with the Sejuani. Could be flexed up the top side for Tenacity. I think that would be very funny after the four top lane bans that we started out with, but we shall see.
I think even yesterday, while it didn't culminate into a victory, still seeing a nice Baron steal on the Viego, you see what Closer can do. But a lot of people have been wanting to see Closer in positions where he doesn't have to make those late crazy plays. So right now,
nice
saying,
not
hey,
to have to make a Baron steal to come back. Yeah. I agree.
Give him a little break on how many weights they put on his barbell and say, okay, maybe focus early and trying to set up the rest of the team. But now getting into the last stage of bans, Sylas been so popular on both fronts for sure.
Yeah, Kassadin also drawing a ban here. So we successfully are banning the majority of the Seraph's Rod of Ages users now for the mid lane here for this game as we start to whittle down. See if they pinch anymore, because it looks like they're both assuming it's just full bottom lanes plus jungle. The most standard, by the way, for the last 5 years drafting route. Drafting bottom lanes and junglers first. And so we're just going to pinch down here on these mid lane pool, what they don't want to have to play against. AblazeOlive doesn't want any part of either the Sylas or the Akali, part of the kind of 2 that ruled the world's meta.
This being such a popular way to approach the draft because of how important champion selection is for their solo lanes, really considering that matchup, and with a lot of the top lanes specifically taken off of the table when it comes to the bans, there's no reason to have to lock those in. You're not saying, hey, Kasante's up, let me try and get this before anyone else takes. So now see what the teams end up electing going into.
Little shout out there to Kenvi with the Belveth hover. And it is going to be continued structure for team fights. So let me tell you, this game is probably not going to be a quick game. I'm assuming this game is going to go the long haul. Everybody in this one building up for front to back team fights, and it's just going to be an arms race. See who can actually execute on it better. Azir picked up here on the side for AblazeOlive to be able to try and supplement that Sivir's late game carry. Ooh, here we go. A little wrinkle with the Renekton. A hint of early game here with Renekton and Sejuani. That is a massive 2v2 threat in jungle top lane. So with all of the top lane bans, we finally get the payoff here. I feel pretty happy about this, where we actually are going to have some action on somewhere on the map early on in this game. Because Sejuani Renekton is one of the most fearsome 2v2s you can get. It's instant Renekton stun, which very quickly stacks up to Sejuani stun, because each one of the empowered W swipes from Renekton also counts as an auto attack that can instantly stack your Sejuani stun. So those two can definitely stun lock somebody from 100% to 0. And it looks like Revenge will pick up the solo route here, play that Ornn for the team, try and just hold on for the early stages and scale up with everybody else.
Yeah, so you already mentioned how both of these teams are looking towards the late game, which I do feel like can sometimes happen when teams are coming off of a loss on the first day. They put more eggs in that late game basket, so they don't feel like they're lacking resources to pull off the victory if things don't go early in the, or well in the early game. But looking at them holistically, which team are you favoring? What specifically are you looking at as the win conditions?
I'm favoring 100 Thieves here. I like the look of investing early priority DoubleLift on Zeri and grabbing that.
Teams, the pressure is on to try and come out of week number 1 of the LCS season with a victory. And we'll see how it all ends up falling through as we take to the Rift.
Instead of calling them scaling comps from now on, we'll just call them the let them cook comps.
Let them cook.
Both teams are cooking though, so if you let both teams cook, then then what happens? Who has the tastier meal at the end?
What kind of things do you like to cook, Kobe?
I don't cook at all. I microwave, or I go out to eat. Or is Grubhub still a sponsor? Grubhub's a sponsor. There we go. Boom! Grubhub. There we go.
Boom sets. I mean, technically, you can make like, what is it? Little cake, mug cakes and things in microwave. So is that cooking if you use a microwave to make something, but you did have to add individual ingredients?
I'm gonna go for a yes for full credit. Honestly though, I even count cooking in the Easy Bake Oven as cooking, so
yes.
I say full credit to anyone who even tries.
The little brownie pies there weren't too bad. I hope both of these teams got nice and fed with all the nutrients before they got into this game though.
I did like the 100 Thieves cookies that Cutie Cinderella actually cooked yesterday in anticipation of 100 Thieves win in game number 1. Hopefully there's still some left over, and DoubleLift and Busio will be able to eat up.
Yeah, I like it because we're, as we say, a bit of chunk down. This is kind of what you expect with a lot of the way that these lanes are coming through. There's lots of pokes on both sides, but yeah, if you win, you get the cookies and you get to celebrate yourself. If they lose, they eat the 100 Thieves cookies, saying they fed me in game, so now they feed me in real life. So yeah.
You had it all planned out. Genius. DoubleLift here going with the Cull start, expecting the massive farm lane as everybody else is as well. Gets a lot of value out of this with the P shooter as well. So no problem here with the fight over minion waves bottom side will probably not be super interesting, at least until the junglers complete their full clears. I do expect both junglers to just do full clear routes all the way down through the bottom. Maybe then there will be a little bit of action down there, but up until then, Closer actually is going to make a pass through mid lane in his full clear.
AblazeOlive here in the center kind of senses it coming, starts to retreat into the bush, and no particularly aggressive warding early on, and now have some intel on where Closer is.
Can he zone him off the cannon? That's the real question. Cannon! Oh yeah! Cannon down. Bjergsen able to get the laugh here. Even though AblazeOlive gets some damage on him, it's all worth it. You denied a cannon with the pass through there, so Closer basically gets credit for that cannon denial. Huge stuff from 100.
That's what we call him Crawl Closer for, right? Not the mega plays, just saying, here, you got the cannon over there. One thing, because top lane was so shifted, the way that the draft went, and Renekton coming through, what do you think of Tenacity specifically being on this pick, and maybe what we can see from Closer in that regard?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in him trying to help out in getting jungle control. Whenever you have a top laner that's gonna have guaranteed push like this, Renekton into Ornn, love it when they would go, he didn't actually take his timing now, but you see the little ping here. Whoop, this ward over by Krugs to get some vision for your jungler. Second spawn of Krugs, they will see.
Closer going in, a flash away from Olive. This was after the flash from Closer as well, so trading summoners can be still standing by only for a moment.
All right, put a little bit of extra pressure towards the mid lane. AblazeOlive gonna have to be a tiny bit more conservative. Not going to have the biggest impact on this lane quite yet, but I do like setting it up for this kind of top triangle of the map of possible plays for Closer. Now he can look towards his Renekton and towards the Azir here in trying to accomplish plays. And basically what they're saying is, DoubleLift and Busio, continue to farm your hearts out down there, stack up that cull, and we'll try and get some advantages and transition over.
Keep control of the wave as
the
much
ward
as possible. Ward really paying off here, so Tenacity having that intel.
I will say the placement is slightly less than ideal though. A little bit right there, so it's not on the actual wall. See the shadow there, the fog. Doesn't see the actual end of the Krug camp. They saw Kenvi kind of peek out, but they don't have the exact perfect timing. Closer though comes up, ensures that Tenacity gets the wave in, and will be able to get his reset for his first purchase.
And meanwhile, over on the bot side, wards in the favor of Immortals because of how they were afforded the opportunity to set up. Dragon just now spawning. And with the way that 100 Thieves bot lane are playing in that way where they're on their own, keep safe, I don't expect we'll find the play very soon for that.
Everybody just chilling down here. Farm wars going pretty even. DoubleLift is going to end up with more CS at the end of this wave than Tactical has, so slight advantage there for him. Plus, since he started the cull, obviously he's going to have that extra gold generation from it as well. And jungle camps ending towards bottom since they both started on top side. We're going to have another round of these full clears ending up on this dragon side of the map. Nice wards from Immortals. These are the gatekeeper wards towards bottom side. Both entrances into the river. So any sort of shenanigans coming over to try and set up for Dragon will be seen. Kenvi gets the ward over the wall to watch the blast cone as well.
Throws it back, starting up on this Dragon. Closer is nearby, and I mean, if you're basing it on the information that 100 Thieves has gathered, they don't really have intel exactly by seeing him on the map where Kenvi is, but maybe worried now at this time.
Yeah, with both lanes pushing, both mid and bottom. Nice job here by Kenvi. 2,000 health left on the Dragon. As Closer's fishing around, time is running out, and it is going to be smote away. There's no smite for Closer, so even if he blast coned in there, wouldn't be able to yoink it, and Kenvi's able to get it and get out.
And that was afforded by that gatekeeping ward positioning, really keeping control on that side, knowing exactly where the rest of the power is thrown. But here in mid lane, Olive getting chunked down just a tad as Bjergsen throwing his ultimate out for that damage, level 7 above AblazeOlive.
Yeah, these are what the scaling games look like. This is what we talked about in Champ Select. We're going to be ulting minion waves for the extra 30 seconds on the recall. Every wave you push gets you a little 30-second window there. Closer going to come by, help Bjergsen finish that one off. And the early push and recall for him.
Blast cone used. So this has to be pretty much in line with what you're expecting, though, right? Nothing too crazy in terms of proactivity early game because they're wanting to play safely.
I mean, you said this is going to be a cooking stream, actually, today. So, game number 4, LCS cooking stream live in front of you.
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of materials on the Rift, I feel like, that could actually be used for cooking. You could get a little more gruesome if you get into some of the camps, but
hopefully we get a little bit of spice on this Rift Herald spawn. Coming up here in 10 seconds because Immortals have brought over Lulu, and Yuumi takes a lot longer to roam, so should be Immortals' power move. They've got the support roam for themselves for this Rift Herald. I like it. Trying to head off the Renekton right now, though they walk over a ward, so Tenacity does know that Lulu is lurking.
We're on by, and you can see Tenacity and DoubleLift both accumulating a decent amount of gold. Immortals starting up this Rift Herald. 100 Thieves in the vicinity, that leaves opportunity to make the play down bot, throwing down the ultimate, and Tactical lost for this world. First blood traded back, though.
Yeah, the tower heated up fully and was able to finish off Yuumi. 100 Thieves, though, I like the call from DoubleLift and Busio. They want to make Immortals fully pay for sending the Lulu up there to get the Rift Herald. So it's not just going to be a turret plate price for the Rift Herald, which is the normal price that you're going to pay for it. And DoubleLift and Busio are going to make them get an extra kill, get the first blood money, and 2 turret plates taken. So DoubleLift here getting very rich very quickly. This is just what 100 Thieves fans want. They invest the early pick into the Zeri. He's on a scaling carry pick here for them. So DoubleLift should be able to have a lot more to say about this game. Here's a look at the call. Yuumi ultimate, great under tower here. Exhaust is on Busio, trying to tank the turret. He dodges out on the boomerang. The little bit of the walk there, and getting hung up on the minion. I still thought that was very, very close to having enough HP, but with the tower fully heating up there, the last shot is able to finish off the Yuumi as well for the counter kill, and Tactical getting a decent amount himself.
Regardless of that last shot, taking down the cat as well, I think the immediacy of that call by that bot lane to punish that roam was pretty clean. And we've heard DoubleLift and Busio talk so much about how Busio's excited. Oh, DoubleLift wanted to play with me. That's an extra motivator, right? And when you have that kind of energy coming through, you're expecting a quick build in their synergy over time if everything aligns, and having control over the lane whenever given a possibility.
Yeah, it's also one of those moments where a lot of players say, is this legal, you know, for them to have a Sivir farming the other side while the rest of the team takes a Rift Herald? If you allow that, you know, is this allowed for Tactical to stay over there and actually farm the minion wave? Then that feels so bad, because then Immortals get the Rift Herald, this huge gold advantage on the top side, some tower pushing power, and the Sivir gets to farm that wave and try and keep you off the tower. That would be devastating. So they make him pay for it, say this is not allowed, even though there is a cost to it. Kenvi still holding on to this Rift Herald that we're talking about, and looking to defend AblazeOlive before he finds his position to actually use it.
So the leads across these lanes for 100 Thieves extending, because, yeah, Kobe, if Sivir can't farm when that's part of the whole thing is, oh, she has this great wave player, then you're already denying such an important resource. So bot lane getting ahead. Tenacity also up in farm over on the top side, managed to get a couple of those plates. So chunking down as much as they can safely do here at 11 minutes into the game for 100 Thieves, and only 20 seconds until the next Drake spawns. A win condition that Immortals was going for with that early takedown by Kenvi.
See Kenvi himself coming in to help clear out this vision. I do expect Rift Herald towards mid lane, maybe towards bottom lane if they're really like, hey, you got to catch up to zeri here. We need the Sivir in full operation. AblazeOlive would definitely be a good recipient of it as well, though. And Fleshy plus Kenvi doing the support jungle roam, passing through, trying to keep out that vision. But now, second look here as Ablaze trails closer in the possibilities of this setup. Both top laners do have teleports. They are regular teleports that are not unleashed, though, so they would have to teleport to their turrets if they wanted to join.
If they decide to make anything happen along those lines, because Immortals have everyone except for them stunned directly onto AblazeOlive, about to flash away, but they take down Kenvi. Ultimate from Yuumi, pretty good at zoning. AblazeOlive barely surviving. Both are looking to finish it off. The blast cone to create some space for Tactical. 2 down for Immortals, and 100 Thieves can turn back onto the dragon.
100 Thieves blow this game up. AblazeOlive gets stunned at the edge of the gravity field. Bjergsen traps him, and that makes an easy call for 100 Thieves. As soon as Closer sees that, he's like, what? This guy's stuck over here, standing in the gravity field. Easy Sejuani ultimate. Follow that sucker up. They nail Kenvi as Kenvi tries to engage and save the mid laner that just got locked up. But it only results in both the jungler and the mid laner going down. So objective over to 100 Thieves. Then the Rift Herald is going to get no turret plates of value, drastically reducing the early value that Immortals even got out of that play where they swapped it up towards the top side. So 100 Thieves already starting to look at their paychecks. And look at this. It's just a regular old gravity field. Can't even walk just towards the edge of it to get out. Not enough move speed. Gets caught on the end, and Kenvi goes in, sacrifices himself. Still going to lose, though, as Closer will flash over the Azir wall to finish off Ablaze. And pick up the dragon in the aftermath. 100 Thieves back at it!
Coming back, another stun of AblazeOlive getting cooked. Who knew Olives was going to be the greatest ingredient in this cooking stream, as 100 Thieves take him down. Over 4,000 gold lead now.
I love the emotes that have noises attached.
Yeah.
The Bard trumpet here, definitely one of the most flavorful. Ablaze immediately back down again. They know he has no flash. Closer sets it up, goes for the quick gank here on Sejuani. 2 kills for him. Well deserved.
And now the gold in the pockets of 100 Thieves, getting heavier and heavier, weighting them down. I hope they've got belts on, because it felt like with Immortals going so particularly towards this early dragon stacking, as soon as they were there, you almost feel that, oh, they're pretty committed to this. And the punishment from 100 Thieves has allowed them to really create an advantage of this game, encroaching upon 15 minutes.
Yep, already getting very early objective bounties. That is not a good sign. At 14 minutes, when you get the earliest notification that you got objective bounties in your favor, that is not a happy feeling. Yes, you know, oh, if we magically make something happen and we're able to steal away an objective or something, you can get an extra payout. But this is the game's way of telling you you have been utterly destroyed early game. Immortals, see if they can actually cash one of those objective bounties out. Starting with the bottom lane.
Polymorph and big, it's not enough. Tenacity does go down, so Immortals starting to put a little bit here down in bot lane. All the while, Bjergsen positioning over top should be able to take this turret, but with the numbers down bot for IMT, they're able to make a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, that's actually going to be huge. Tactical fill out this extra minion wave. Next one that arrives, you can actually finish up the turret, get that objective bounty. Actually, they've disappeared after the kill. There we go. Objective bounties have fallen off, so they already got close enough. He's still going to get the tower, though. Nice escape from Ablaze this time. Dodges away from the Sejuani ultimate. Sivir going to eventually get that solo tower gold on bottom side. Still doing a good job here for 100 Thieves, pushing it ahead, though.
Kenvi does have the opportunity to escape here on the Wukong. Last cone over. We're at that point in the game where now Busio is spending some time with Closer as he moves through to try and safely clear out this jungle. 2 turrets down compared to the 1. And at least Immortals creating some conditions for themselves after what was looking like a pretty swingy couple of minutes.
Yeah, I like it, trying to push on bottom side, get more money into the Sivir. That's now the hopes here. They do obviously also have very good scaling 5-on-5 options for later. But 100 Thieves, as we mentioned from Champion Select, they're the ones, they get the early snowball, they use that power to get the last of the outer turrets down already. Only 16.5 minutes into this game. And Dragon going to come up in another 50 seconds. They've got plenty of time to recall, go grab those extra control wards. Bjergsen filling out the extra minions on this top side, and it's going to be difficult for Immortals to actually get their way really back into it.
100 Thieves kind of pushing their own line of scrimmage forward because of the way that they're pushing these waves. It makes it even more difficult for Immortals to come through to set up warding properly.
Yeah, now that all the outer towers are gone for Immortals, makes it a lot more difficult, like you're saying, to push out the side waves. Ablaze going to take a nice little chunk here. Show some respect for the crocodile.
Crocodiles, I spent a lot of time with some crocodiles recently, actually. They're pretty cool, but Renekton's still my fave. And Tenacity doing a formidable job, 181 CS for himself, and nearly 5k gold lead for 100 Thieves. Collapsing upon this Grey currently, are Immortals not wanting to contest.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job here, 100 Thieves. Making it so risky for Immortals to push out that 100 Thieves are both increasing the gold lead and retaining control of the neutral objectives, stacking their dragons for themselves. So marginal increase on the gold lead. Now Ornn has gotten the wave up to the top tower, but 100 Thieves are using this time to push pretty heavily here on bottom.
Olive has the help of Fleshy if need be, and Tactical over in mid lane having to make his way over. Bjergsen with that insight, ready to shift as well. This is the second Rift Herald of the game. First one picked up for 100, and it's nice when you can get that charge onto the second turret to try and get some initiation here. And Immortals doing their best to clear.
Meanwhile, they've got Bjergsen pushing mid, so this Viktor gonna annihilate this mid wave. It looks like they're trying to collapse on him with the Ornn, but they'll see the Ornn walk over this ward now. There we go. Shouldn't catch anybody in the pincer.
The elimination of that second turret in the mid lane, it also shortens the distance that as Bjergsen you have to travel if you do have to escort the rest of the team. So being able to more comfortably sit there to push that forward, and Immortals losing more control of their map at this point. Look how aggressive the wards were able to become because of 100 Thieves bot push.
The next 4 minutes are kind of the determining factor here for if this game is going to get finished out cleanly as well. Because Immortals, if they're able to just calmly farm all 3 lanes without overextending, giving up any more deaths, they can just catch these minion waves. There's nothing to pull them super far out into the danger zone. Yes, Baron is available, but Baron's not going to go down super quickly, so should be pretty easy for Immortals to keep enough vision to defend against a Baron rush while not extending anybody too far to actually get killed. So if they can do that, next 4 minutes, go deathless and retain farm, catching the minion waves before they get smushed into the secondary towers, then that would be their way right back into it.
Their goal, nobody get caught out. Nobody give anything over unnecessarily. Patience is the name of the game for Immortals. Lots of items already completed, the mythics along the line. We have the second item power spike for tactical coming in on Sivir. They've had such an attempt to allow him to farm up and get to that late game potential that they need for these fights.
Yeah, he's still gonna have a really hard time getting through this Sejuani and Renekton, so he's definitely looking towards the end stages once he can get his Infinity Edge. A flash forced here. Closer goes to AblazeOlive again and does get the cooldown plus the tower.
A trade of the Glacial Prison for that flash. Teleport coming through from Immortals as well. Kenvi somewhat junked in the Ornn horn. Tries to get one but cannot. DoubleLift still with Cat on his back is doing damage. Tenacity into the backline he goes but should be getting burned. Revenge manages to survive but stunned on the outset. Look at that ultimate coming on through with the Empress Divide. AblazeOlive into some trouble. Wild Growth targeted on Tactical, but it cannot keep him up. DoubleLift doing way too much damage. Closer still survives it all, and 100 Thieves kill 3 to come out on top in that fight.
You could see the comms in action too. Bjergsen was waiting at his tower in top lane for almost 5 seconds there, waiting to see if he actually needs to pull the trigger on the teleport, because 100 Thieves were almost winning that 4v5 fight as they start to kite back. So look at the minimap right now. Bjergsen has his recall going. He's watching, he's waiting, they're talking, hey, do we need to teleport on this? Do we need to teleport? He cancels his recall, he's still watching, Tenacity kites back. 100 Thieves are trying to decide right now, do we fully disengage or do we go for the turn? Boom, they make the call, go for the turn, teleport Bjergsen in. Nice little timing there as Closer goes to the engage. He gets 2 of them so low that Bjergsen can come in, cut off the backside. DoubleLift just flashes back. They finish off the 2 front members as well. Both carries here from Immortals. No safe space to work with as Bjergsen had just enough mana to go in there and finish up the dirty work. They demolish Immortals. DoubleLift on the Zeri. Got the early start, got the first blood. Welcome back to the LCS, my friend.
The damage right there looking like a long distance track compared to those short bars of the rest of them.
Looking kind of like the Golden Guardians message. With the single bar.
Already
DoubleLift's got a message of his own.
Yeah. It's the meta way of trying to communicate what they're doing here. But 100 Thieves have had a lot of great moments. As you mentioned, the patience, Kobe, of these players. Bjergsen being able to make the tactical play against Immortals on when to enter that fight and capitalize upon all the chunking that the rest of the team did. And now sitting pretty out of the bush they go. AblazeOlive looking for the shuffle on in, gets a knockup and more onto Tenacity. Final chapter going out across the rest of them. And Revenge has to back off. Kenvi has to back off. DoubleLift has to venture on shoreward. And Fleshy zones out of the fight. Of course, we have the passive from this year to end this right now, but they took out Kenvi. It was a trade of 1 for 1.
That's really close. Yeah, the extra healing there from the Radiant Virtue from Revenge on the Ornn, keeping him alive. I thought it was going to be worse than just the 1 for 1. But both of these top lane tanks, both healing mythic items for themselves. The Gore Drinker kept Tenacity alive for a lot longer, and then the Radiant Virtue as well kept the Ornn alive for a lot longer. And in the end, 100 Thieves, we saw, were finishing up the objective afterwards, so they're very happy with it. Kenvi, though, goes in on Tenacity, gets the slow with the smite is enough for Azir to get the knockback, but then Tenacity pops the Gore Drinker, plus the charged up Q to be able to double heal here. And the reinitiation, Gravity Field stuns them both up from Bjergsen as the Yuumi ultimate rooted them in place and set them up for it. So I thought it was going to be even worse for Immortals, but They're able to scramble away with only 1 death. They did lose the extra dragon, and it's already dragon number 3 stacked up for 100 Thieves.
Because while it was only 1 death for Immortals, it was the jungler at that, and 100 Thieves could make the objective play immediately following, meaning they are now on soul point. Not a single Drake grab for Immortals since the first.
All right, DoubleLift finishing the Lord Doms as well, so he can work through this Ornn, get through all this armor, get through this Thorn Mail as well. Objective bounties have returned, and 100 Thieves have returned to the Baron. Control ward's already down. They're looking to bait right now, bait Immortals, because they know they can hard force really easily with the Sejuani Yuumi combination. The engage is theirs to take. Flank down here from Renekton, you see Tenacity, he pushed out the wave, heading down to look for it.
Oh, but the fight's starting up. Kenvi in the center of it all is already into terrible position. AblazeOlive gets stunned up by the ultimate. Once more revenge right there with Immortals on his back. They aren't there anymore because guess what? 2 of them died. Flash forward from Tactical to try to get an escape. But look at that damage coming out of DoubleLift. Fleshy said, I got you. I'm gonna go this way. Go get my AD carry. Don't come this way. I'm just a little Lulu. Why don't you go get Tactical instead? All right.
You know, sometimes you catch a fish and it's just too small and you throw it back. that one did not meet the weight standards. DoubleLift just threw him back. Fleshy, no need to kill that one. He goes after Tactical. The AD carries are what he really cares about. Takes him down.
DoubleLift a bit picky about the protein with which he cooks. Decides on Tactical for the best quality. 10K gold lead for 100 Thieves, and the Red Bull Baron buff in tow right now. It's been a good look for them today.
Definitely a good one. Bjergsen as well on this Viktor. Kind of assassinating the backline. This last fight, he was able to chase down Kenvi, and Kenvi looking for some revenge.
Kenvi may not have the name revenge, but it is in his heart. So if you're Immortals right now, and you're seeing what 100 Thieves have been able to do, well, let's actually take a look at what they're able to do moments ago.
Yeah, so they just saw Renekton towards top side, so they're thinking, we don't have a lot of time to work with. Maybe we go now, can we get a good initiation? Kenvi gets almost 2-shot there when he goes in on the Wukong onto the Sejuani. He deals negative damage to the Sejuani and then almost dies. Bjergsen chases him down. They want to finish it.
Yeah, now with the buff and everything, 100 Thieves are feeling pretty confident as they push forward. Revenge throwing his body at the rest of them, stunned up and blasted down to give his life here. And with the push of Tenacity over on this bot side, 100 Thieves can spread their pressure across 2 lanes to take these towers simultaneously and have Immortals with their tails between their legs.
And their base in rubble as well. 2 inhibitors instantly destroyed. 100 Thieves not looking to let it go too long.
They're feeling good about this one. They've got the buff, they've got the play, they've got the smiles on their faces, I'm sure, looking to try and take their first win here. Nexus turret number 1 falling, the second one to boot. Kenvi goes in. They have to do something to try and prevent the continuation of this stand. The closer looking to set up for the rest of the team, forcing a flash out of Fleshy here. So many minions coming in as well. The supers coming from mid lane means they'll have that additional support if they decide to stay on by, but the rest of the team has spawned for Immortals.
Tenacity gonna teleport right back in and finish it right now. They've got a lot of money, but they've got more power.
They're going for it. 100 Thieves, eyes on the Nexus here against Immortals. Just trying to outpoke them. Tenacity going into the back lane, gets a little bit of a sweep onto Tactical, but on the opposite side, AblazeOlive with the last attempt, gets eliminated. DoubleLift still in pursuit, turning 2 more players into their fountain. 100 Thieves dismantling Immortals Nexus as slow as they can to get the kills, putting their first win of the season on the board.
DoubleLift with some nice flashes this game. They were unable to touch him. And 100 Thieves demolish Immortals.
What a game for them to come through with, a type of pick that people were wanting to see for DoubleLift. They said, let him cook. Let's see what can happen. And the way he was able to land that damage in the end ended up securing the victory.
Well done here.